And we're live. Yes, we are live. It's been a while, guys.
It has.
Back again. How are we doing?
Good, man. Surviving lockdown, innit?
Surviving lockdown.
Surviving post-corona, bro. It's post-corona era.
Pete, how you been, brother? You good?
Yeah. Back at work today, so the dream's over. The dream's over for another year, but yeah, all good, man. All good. It was nice to have a break off all football and all the rest of it, but we're back now, good or bad, we're back.
I think we've all needed it. We've all needed like a little break from Newcastle, from football in general. The last video that we did was the takeover. Yeah, it was a bit peak. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, you know, we're back now. We're winning games as well. We've got loads to talk about as well. Where should we start? Let's start with the new signing. Now, I've got to get on to Funmbi on this because Funmbi is all that energy about Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz. When the takeover happened, Kai Havertz. Takeover not happened, and we signed Jeff Hendrick.
Can I just say, yeah? I didn't say Kai Havertz. I said players of that ilk. Like a Jeff Hendricks. I think they're in the same ballpark.
No. You're going back now. Pete, back me up on
Obviously, we can't get Kai Havertz no more. We ain't got no money. Sorry, imagine if we had a takeover now and Messi's available. Bro, we would have been the first ones in there.
That's not true though. We do have money. We've just got an owner that don't want to spend it. That's the difference. Exactly. We're the only club to have a billionaire owner that doesn't want to spend money. You know what I mean? That's the reality of it all, and it has been for the last 13 years.
To be fair, yeah, if we didn't get Kai Havertz, my next option was a Jeff Hendricks. Do you see what I'm saying? I just didn't say it.
Good save.
I didn't say it in the previous ones because I was so excited. But you know, if you miss out on Kai, you got to go for a Jeff Hendricks. Do you see what I'm saying?
We must have missed that bit, innit? We missed that bit, you know.
Yeah, I didn't hear that last part, but no, I mean, look, let's be honest. He's not a marquee signing. He's not a signing that's going to get fans massively excited, and you can see the reaction on social media that fans aren't really excited by him. But in actual fact, you know, he's at a good age. You know, he's on a 4-year deal. He's played a lot of games in the Premier League. He knows how to play in this league. Is he going to start with everyone fit? No. It'll be Hayden and Shelby that will start. But the difference is now is, you know, apart from we can get into positions that we need transfers and all the rest of it. But actually, in the positions we already have, we need to bolster those squad players, because when we do have injuries, the squad players aren't good enough. They're not even anywhere near the level of the first team players, or even, you know, they're close to that. But when you get in Hendricks, that's close to being at the same level as a Hayden or a Longstaff or a Shelby, and you bring him in, and it's not going to make that much of a difference in terms of the drop in quality. That's the key to this type of signing. And on a free, it's a no-brainer, particularly when you're thinking that we were looking at getting Bentaleb for 9 million on 80+ grand a week. You know what I mean? When you weigh it up like that, you take the deal. You would. I would have took this deal all day long in the back end of restart when we were absolutely slating Bentaleb and how rubbish he was. And he was rubbish. And thank God Steve Bruce saw that as well.
Funmbi, I ask you, mate, does he improve our squad? With the players that we have already, he comes in basically as a key replacement, basically, innit? Because Key went out, then we brought in Bentaleb. Bentaleb, thank God, never stayed or never got offered a deal. We bring in this guy. Has he improved what we got in the centre of the park?
I don't know if he's improved what we got, but I know one thing. If you paid for Sean Dyche, you ain't out here being lazy in these streets. So I'm glad we've got at least someone's going to work hard. I'd like to see us rotate a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel we batter Hayden and Shelby to death. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to see if he's solid enough to play in games like against a Burnley or a West Ham or a Watford, where you want to rest, you know, like a Hayden and a Shelby, so that we, if we have a bigger, tougher games, we can actually put them in. So I don't mind. I think he's a good signing. And Bruce, this is Bruce type of player, isn't it? Bruce was not the fancy defender. He was tackle your burn. He was get my head in front of a boot type defender. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy with that. This is where we're at. You know what I mean? Of course, I would have liked to see the long hair with the dye strands type player, but this is no nonsense. Clearly, it's going to take a lot to excite Newcastle fans with signings. Believe me. Okay, we're looking. You have to bring in Pele to get us out of our seats now. It's not going to impress us. Nobody we sign is going to impress us. We're going to be like, we hate our chairman. So I'm more of the thought of, I'm glad we've made a signing, and again, I think it's a good signing in the sense where this is a decent player. This is not like some foreigner who we're taking a chance on. You don't have a problem with foreigners, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm looking forward. He looks like he's going to work, and that's what I want.
I suppose this is a question for both of you. Where do we go from here? Because I'm hoping that's not the last of our signings, whether it be free or not. I mean, we never know. We never know. We know Mike Ashley's being very tight with the check.
When does the window end?
October the 5th.
October the 5th.
October the 5th, the best day of the year, my birthday. So I'm hoping we're gonna have at least a few decent signings on that day.
We'll do a transfer window special that day in it for Pete in it. But hey, what I was going to say was, we're gonna do all our business an hour before that window closes. Okay, so just brace yourself.
And you know what that is? All our business will be nothing, right? You know that, right?
We're gonna get mad loans. You're gonna have mad loans on that day.
We'll pull out all the quotables. We tried to get him over the line. Looking at people, all them Pardew quotables that we usually throw up there. We just couldn't get that one in. We just couldn't get that person in. But yeah, going back to the question, who else should be looking at? Like realistically, I know we're linked to some 22 million striker. Yeah, we're going to pay 22 million pounds. Yeah, all right. Is there anyone else that we might be able to get? Callum Wilson, maybe.
We have to. We have to make signings. As simple as that. We're going into a Premier League season right now with one left back. Paul Dummett, who wasn't even in the 25. Now,
and he's in the left back.
Yeah. I mean, he can play there. He's more of a defensive left back, but but ultimately he also has a record with injuries. So you don't want to be going in with one left-footed defensive left back because you haven't got then a replacement to come in if he gets injured, which I don't think there's been a season where he hasn't got injured for a significant period of time for a number of years now, which is a concern. So a left back we have to get in. Who that is, we've been linked with a Greek left back quite heavily. Don't know anything about him. Meant to be a decent player. I think he's playing in the Champions League tonight against Besiktas. His team are playing against them. So if they go out, maybe that deal ramps up. Who knows? But then you've always got the Zetra Williams, who is already been at the club, knows the club, wants to come back to the club. Obviously, he's recovering from his injury, but then there's been talk recently that potentially he could be coming in on a free, and that Frankfurt are allowing maybe Tim to kind of cancel his contract to get that move. So there's a couple of options there. I mean, for me, the midfield's set now with Matty Longstaff staying, with Hendrick staying. Joining. That midfield's done. We don't need to sign anyone there. Priority should now be a striker, and it should have been right from the beginning. Funmbi's talked about it. You only stay in this league if you score enough goals. Okay. Now we were very, very lucky that we scored crucial goals in games. Because if you look at the games where we only won by one goal.
And it was a centre back.
And it was either a centre back or a midfielder that was scoring them. You cannot go into another season with the strikers that we have, fit or not. You look at all of those strikers, their Premier League pedigree is not enough. They don't score enough goals. And that's a significant problem. To add to that, those strikers all get injured. And their injury records are all awful. So, Gale's barely played this season. Carroll's barely played this season. They're our first choice strikers, effectively, because you would play them ahead of Joe Linton. Joe Linton's the opposite. He plays every single game, just doesn't score. He's the opposite to the other two. And then you've got Muto, who doesn't even make the squad. So you've got four strikers. It's four, not poor strikers, because Gale would be a decent backup for most of the bottom half of the table Premier League teams, but he's only a backup. You want that one striker that is going to lead the line. Has got Premier League pedigree of scoring goals, or certainly scoring goals at a good level that could come into the Premier League outside of England and do the business. Now, you got Callum Wilson, in my opinion, is a no-brainer. 28 years old. Yes, he has an injury record, but it is better than what we've already got. He's still trying to get into the England squad. He's hungry. He does know where the net is, and he's coming at a decent price. He would be a no-brainer for me. And then you got some sort of a number of foreign strikers that are out there. You got the lad that's on loan from Roma at Leipzig. Can't pronounce his name, which not that. I can't pronounce his name, but he's to be fair, I've seen him play. He's a decent player. He is a decent player.
Yeah, you ought to be watching him on YouTube.
No. I've seen him play for Roma. I've seen him play for Leipzig this season. He scored goals. He is a good player, and he could lead the line. The key for me is that if we've only got 30 million or 35 million in the budget, I'd be spending 90% of that on the striker to make sure that we get the right player in. I mean, you can get other players on loan for for a season and here and there to match the squad up, but I'd be going all out.
Funmbi, let's get some realistic expectation from you. No Kai Havertz. He's unfortunately going to Chelsea. Okay, we've had English Rob throw in Eze. Obviously, he's not quite a striker, but he's an option. Who would you sign, bro? Because Gale's out today, by the looks of it. Who would you bring in, bro?
I mean, Callum Wilson looks like the likely option. Man, if it was possible, I don't think it is possible, but if it was, realistic? I'd like to try and if this was realistic. I'm not sure, but it'd be nice to see if we could get Tammy Abraham on loan. Because they've got Timo Werner and they've got Giroud in it. Timo Werner is gonna, but they're demanding a lot from Lampard this season. So I'm not sure where Tammy's going to go, where he's going to stay. But here's the thing. I have no faith that Newcastle would even be on this. He'll end up going to like Villa. Will be like, why were we not in the run for this? Do you know what I mean? But that would show that at least the club is thinking ahead for at least one quality person. You know what I mean? Like Tammy's available. Just even if you just make the noise and say, we're trying to go for these people and be serious about it. I would like a Tammy Abraham because clearly he's not going to start at Chelsea this season. They've got Timo Werner, so they're not going to worry about him. So it'd be something like that. I
was going to say, to add to what Funmbi said, he's absolutely spot on. But you got Michy Batshuayi, who's not playing either. You got those two strikers. Both of them know that they're not going to get games. You've got two strikers ahead of them. And the fact that Giroud was playing in all of the bigger games and Abrahams wasn't at the back end of the season, and Michy Batshuayi was nowhere to be seen, says everything. Michy Batshuayi, he went on to Dortmund and was scoring goals in the Champions League.
He went to Palace and scored goals.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, going to Palace was like what? How have
I thought we get him that?
Yeah, exactly. He's gone to Dortmund, scored goals, then gone back to Chelsea, didn't play, and then they put Palace, and I'm thinking, why have we not even explored that? He wouldn't even be on massive wages.
No,
and for a 2 million loan fee.
Pete, I'm going to throw in two more names that English Rob has just thrown in: Watkins and Morelos, and I'm going to throw in another one, Edouard, is it from Celtic?
Yeah.
What about those three players? Those are three different. They're three players within our price range. I think we possibly get.
Well, look, Watkins has got. It's been well documented. Watkins has got an 18 million release clause because they did get promoted, and that's already in play at the moment for this summer. So for me, 18 million, that's what you get. You get a guy that's transitioned from playing left wing into a striker this season and transitioned really well because with Mopé leaving and going to Brighton, he's played up top and he scored goals on the back of it. He's a young English talent, exactly fits the mould of what Ashley wants to sign in a player. For 18 million, it's a no-brainer. Let's not make that mistake again like he did with Bowen and let that deal slide and someone else ends up picking him up. So for me, he'd be a no-brainer and a great option. You've got Morales. Look,
he was on France, wasn't he? I think that deal fell through. He was about, I think maybe Nice, maybe, and I don't know what happened.
It was Lille because their striker, Nigerian striker, went to Napoli. If I'm right,
which was that one?
Was it Napoli or
Lazio?
Lazio? It starts with an O. I can't pronounce his name again. I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, very, very talented. So he went off to Italy. They were going. Well,
this is recent, right?
Yeah, not long ago. We
were linked with that guy. You know, remember? I think his name is Victor Osimhen or something like that.
Yeah,
he's gone to Italy.
He's gone to Italy. But the thing about it is that obviously, if we had that type of money, we'd have signed him. He was going for big money regardless. But he's gone there. Morales was meant to go to Lille to replace him, but there's been all sorts of stuff going on. He's now fallen out with the club. He was dropped for the game at the weekend. It's all over the place. Look, ability-wise, it's without question he'd be a great signing. The issue I have is his temperament. His temperament is questionable. The amount of red cards, how easy it is to wind him up on the football pitch is a massive question mark for me. And we've already seen it with Mitrovic. Is in that if you wind him up a little bit or you rough him up the wrong way and he's not getting his own way, he will hit out. He's done it with us. He's done it with Fulham. Now this guy's worse. Morales for me is worse in his temperament. I don't think we need a player like that in this team, because I don't think we've got the manager that can manage that type of player. And I don't think the squad will like it either, because we haven't got a squad that's like that. So for me, that rules him out. Although he's a talent, that rules him out for me. The Edouard situation, he's a quality player, and he does want to leave Celtic. He's done everything at Celtic. He's won everything there. He wants to move on. And for the good of his career, he needs to move on. The issue I have is the amount of money Celtic are going to want for him, because they're going to want at least 25, 30 million. And it's whether we as a club... Well, of course, you would pay it, because he'd be the guy that would get us the goals. He knows where the net is. He's an all-round talented player. He's only 22 years old, right? He's banging on the door for the French team as well. He's got all that ability. And, that the issue is whether we as a club are willing to put the majority of our budget down to sign him. That's the question mark. We've been tracking him for 2 years. Yeah, we've been tracking him for 2 years now. So he's not a player that has just come on our radar. We know him. Like you said, we've gone through those players. There are options there. There are options.
What about Enoch Origi?
Divock.
Enoch Origi. Enoch Origi, for Liverpool.
Yeah, Divock Origi.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for me, I don't think he's leaving. I don't think he's leaving Liverpool. He literally signed a new contract at the end of last season when they won the Champions League. He signed a new bumper contract. For me, that signalled that he's staying. I'd be surprised if they sold him. I would be surprised if they got rid of him. I think they're looking to strengthen other areas. I think they're going to go with the majority of their squad. So, and again, I don't think we're in a position to sign him up. I think he's going to go to someone better, and rightly so, because he's already proved he can play that level. So, I mean, not a bad chat there.
The only other option is breaking news that Leonardo Messi kind of said that he wants to leave France. So, I mean, there's a handful of clubs that could go in for him. I see you tweet out. Well, I noticed we're not on the list of that, but fair enough.
Not yet.
Once we get it, take over, yeah.
I think he's stalling. I think he's stalling a little bit, so Richard Masters can get his papers in order, so he can make the move up north. But I mean, but on a side note, I know a lot of people the reactions of journalists and various other people are really, really surprised by it. I'm not. Messi, in my opinion, or that however great he is, he's been on the downward spiral for a couple of years now. Barcelona's recruitment process has been absolutely disgraceful. Rather than really, transition the team and get rid of some players that pass the sell-by date. Well, it's not even that. But rather than get rid of and move on players past their sell-by date, they've just been signing average players just to come in to bolster the squad, and then giving Messi more money on a contract that they can't really afford as a club. They're not a Real Madrid, they're not a PSG or a Man City that have got a shed load of money. They're not. They're actually skint as a club, but they put literally 80% of their budget into Lionel Messi. Messi comes out with just under £1 million a week.
Damn.
Him and Ronaldo are on stupid money, crazy money, and majority of their budget goes on him. So they've made that mistake, and where Real Madrid moved on Ronaldo a couple of years ago, and they've been able to rebuild and then won La Liga without him, and they've gone and moved on. Barcelona haven't done that, and actually it's going to take them a long time when Messi leaves to really, I think they're going to disappear for a number of years. But like I said, there's only realistically 3 teams that he'll want to go to and who can afford him: PSG, Man City, and Man United.
I think he's going back to Argentina.
Before we get stuck
or Argentina. But I was talking purely on his current wages. Purely on his current wages, who could afford him. But he's always said he wants to retire in Argentina. So if he goes to Argentina, he's going there to finish his career. But I think he's still got at least a year or 2 left in Europe to play at a top club. And Man United are calling out for a right-sided midfielder. They can't get the Sancho deal done for whatever reason.
We're getting carried away with other teams. Let's rate it in.
True.
So let's go to Newcastle. We've got loads to get through. Matty Longstaff. Right. So we're talking about another person that we managed to sign. Funmbi was very confident that we were going to keep him here. I wasn't too sure, Udinese, Watford, a handful of teams were looking at him. We finally managed to sign a 2-year deal, though. 2-year deal. Bear in mind,
can I just say
4 and 5 year deals, everyone. What are you going to say, bro?
I wasn't confident we were going to keep him. I didn't care.
Yeah, that's true. You did say that.
I didn't care if we kept him or not. I was just like, hurry. I was actually embarrassed that Matty Longstaff was holding our club to a ransom on a contract deal. I was actually embarrassed. I didn't know how far we'd fallen, that a player who hasn't even approved himself is swinging his boots in the contract room. I was insulted by that. But I'm glad he signed, because that gave me some kind of, maybe we are serious about the future. Because if he had left, it would also show where we're at as a club. Like, we just had the bad takeover news, and now Matty Longstaff is gone. It would have been bad news.
You think we signed him on more of a sentimental deal? The fact that he's homegrown, all the rest of it, rather than,
I think they came to a compromise. I thought he thought, 2 years, I'll stay here, but I ain't staying here forever, because I want to see where you lot are at after 2 years. That's what it was. It was more of a compromise. And that just lets you know how much in disarray the back stuff, the upstairs is in our club. It's just terrible that you can't even tie a player who's not even 8. How old is he? 20, a young kid. You can't even excite him to play for a club like Newcastle for 5 years.
It's interesting that you just said the guy's upstairs. There's only one guy upstairs, and it's Lee Charnley. He literally, and this is how bad the club is. He is literally running everything himself. That is how much Mike Ashley has stripped the club back. There was hardly, I think there's pretty much, there's no board there. He is the managing director. He decides and constructs everything, and he's not even a football man. So you're asking a non-footballing person to run a football business and have an understanding of how football works. That's the big problem. Now, for me, there's a number of factors why Matty Longstaff, on both sides, Newcastle and Matty Longstaff's side, while the deal went through. First and foremost, Watford get relegated. So his actual option of Udinese on loan to Watford in Premier League fell flat, because he ain't going to want to play in the Championship. Not for a club that's got no guarantee that they're going to come back, and then he'd be stuck there. So that was one factor. The other factor is with Newcastle is that the takeover didn't go through. So there was then a concern about how much money Mike Ashley was going to put in the club in terms of transfers, and clearly we've seen not a lot. Now, for me, and for Newcastle, clearly it was a no-brainer. He still he doesn't go on the register list in terms of registered players in the squad because he's a homegrown, as Clinton said. He's a homegrown player. He's under the age of 21, so he can go on without being actually put on the list and being an official player. That's crucial. We need players like that because we've got too many of our young academy players that are 21, 22 and above that would be registered. So that was also a big issue. And then on top of that, if you're going to replace someone like Matty Longstaff, you're going to have to go out there and sign somebody and pay more wages than what you would offer Matty Longstaff.
Pete, you just hit the nail on the head because that's what I think it was. I think signing Matty Longstaff was a signing or a re-signing of convenience. A, it saves us from going out and spending money. B, it's kind of like good PR. You know, we've kept the homegrown lad back in. You know, the whole wanting of 5 or 10 Geordies on the pitch. Yeah, we kept one of our own here, and we don't want to make the same mistake we've done over the years. So that's how I feel like it's more of a signing of convenience rather than, we're being ambitious and keeping our best players in.
Yeah, and that's what. And I think what's happened is he's turned around and said, okay, I'll accept less wages, and it wouldn't surprise me if they've come to an agreement because they wanted to pay him 20, he wanted 30. Wouldn't surprise me if they've met in the middle at 25. But he said, right, you normally give young players or players 4, 5, 6 year deals. I want a 2-year deal, but I want assurances that I'm going to play games. He's not a stupid lad. He's a smart lad, and people think about all this loyalty to Newcastle or any homegrown club. He isn't like that. He wants to be good. He wants to get better. And I respect that from him. And it seems like he's come in and said, right, I want a 2-year deal. I want assurances over this next year or the next 18 months that I'm going to be playing enough games to develop myself and kick myself on. If not, I'll leave in 2 years' time on a free. And I think they've come to that compromise if he doesn't get those games.
If Rafa was still at the club, that kid would have signed a 5-year deal because I know he would develop under Rafa. Under Bruce, it's just going to be run around like a headless chicken. He's not going to actually develop under Bruce. He's not going to improve under Bruce, and that's quite sad.
And this is the thing. See, Bruce has taken a lot of praise, and rightly so to a certain extent, that he brought him into the squad. And we had injuries at the time. So we did bring him into the squad, and he did give him a chance. Now, Bruce has got to prove that he can take a player and make him better. The adrenaline's now ran out on a new young player coming into the team. The adrenaline for him has run out, and the adrenaline for the fans have run out. Now we need to see the same quality he showed it against Man United both times, and some of the other games he's played in. We need to see that this season, and we need to see him making a difference because it works both ways. He wants to develop himself, fine. So he needs the minutes. But if we give him the minutes, he needs to perform. Because when we have given him minutes at the back end of this season, he hasn't played well at all. So, it does work both ways. So it's up to both of them now. Bruce to show us that he can develop a player, and Matty Longstaff to show us that he is that next step up, that he is going to push Hayden and Shelby.
Moving on to our homegrown player that's been signed, Freddie Woodman. He signed a 3-year contract before getting he's after that. Funmbi, you're looking a bit confused. He's our goalkeeper. Yeah. He just he's our goalkeeper. He's a young buck.
Okay. But Darlow's gone.
No. Unfortunately not. But this is the compromise.
Back out to Swansea, where he was last season. So good for him to get some minutes. He's not going to dislodge Dubravka anytime soon. But yeah, thoughts on that, guys? I'm not going to ask you Funmbi straight away. I'm going to ask more people. Funmbi still trying to work out who is the. We actually do have another keeper apart from Dubravka. So yeah, what you saying, Pete?
I've got to be honest. I'm really, really happy, but I'm also very surprised because I think I remember saying it in a previous stream that I was convinced that he was going to leave the club. He is a very, very talented young goalkeeper. I think he's only like 22, 23, which in goalkeepers' years is still really young. He's gone through the ranks in England. England goalkeeper. I think he's played up to England under 21s. He's only got the senior team now to get to, and he's won Euro. I think it was either the Euros or the World Cup under under 19s, under 20s, I think it was. He's a fantastic young goalkeeper. He has been mismanaged over the last 3 years. Under sort of Rafa's tenure, and I'm not saying it's all Rafa's fault, but he was mismanaged in terms of, kept him at the club when he could have gone or should have gone on loan. When he has gone on loan, he hasn't gone to the right club, and he's really been mismanaged. So his development stalled slightly. However, this last season he went on loan to Swansea, and he was outstanding for them, and he was the big reason why they got to the playoffs. Unfortunately, he got injured during the playoffs, so he never played in the playoffs, and obviously they went out. But he would have been a big difference to them. So I'm pleased he signed not just a year rolling contract, which he has done the previous 2 years. He signed a 3-year contract, so he's committed to stay. Now, with Dubravka 33, 34, he, for me, above Darlow, above Gillespie, he would be coming straight in as my number one if we haven't got the finances to go out and buy a top keeper. That's just my opinion.
Now, I often worry about our keeper in this situation only because we're well stacked in this position. The only position that we're really well stacked in: Dubravka, Darlow, Woodman, obviously. Who else am I forgetting? Gillespie. And we often sometimes kind of miss a trick here. I remember going back years ago when we had Fraser Forster in goal, and we let him go to Southampton, and then he obviously went to Celtic. So, as much as I'm happy for Woodman, and obviously now he's sent on loan and obviously to get minutes, I don't want him to be like one of those ones that kind of we missed out on, and he's ends up playing for a really good team that's better off than us. Because, as I said, Dubravka, he's mid-30s. Yes, keepers get better with age and all the rest of it, but I would like to see Woodman actually start for us. Paul's saying that eventually we'll get our number one shirt. I would like to see that too. I would like to see Woodman, if he's good enough, to be the number one. I don't think Gillespie's been signed as the number one. Darlow's done out here, and Dubravka's probably got a couple more years, which I'm happy to see. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it as well. I don't know if you've got anything more to add, Pete.
I just think I think the natural transition will be that Darlow sees. I think he's got a year left. I think he'll see his contract out this season, and then he'll move on, and rightly so. It would then give an opportunity for Woodman to come back next season and go in at number 2 and fight tooth and nail with Dubravka for the number 1 shirt, or it will bring Gillespie up to number 2, and then they bring one of the academy players through as the third goalkeeper and give Woodman another sort of loan. The key to it is that Freddie Woodman is a very, very determined young goalkeeper. He wants to be number 1. So he's not going to come back to us unless he's been given assurances that he's going to be playing regular football in our first team. And that's the thing. And that's where we've got to balance it out. We love Dubravka, he's an outstanding goalkeeper, but at some point we've got to look for that transition to bring Woodman in if we're going to keep him, because he could be then our goalkeeper for the next 10 years.
That's easy, man. When we're playing the FA Cup, we just rotate the team,
True, but he's going to want more than cup games. That's the thing. He's going to want more than cup games because, and to be fair, if he has another real good season with Swansea, he'll probably command that.
Is he on loan at Swansea for this season?
Yeah, he's just on loan for this season. Yeah,
we don't have to worry about him then.
Not right now, but I'm thinking because of his potential, we don't want to like Clinton said. Like we loaned Fraser Forster out for a couple of years at Celtic, and then ended up selling him. I think to Celtic, he then ended up going for 10-12 million to Southampton, getting in the England squad. So other teams saw the benefits of our academy product. We don't want.
But we had Tim Crewe though.
We did, but Fraser Forster was probably equal to him, if not better, during that period. But he didn't want to stay on the bench, and that's the thing. And I don't want that to happen to Freddie Woodman, because if we lose him and then Dubravka starts to kind of fizzle out his career, we're then going to have to pull our the bank check out, which Ashley doesn't do, and buy a new goalkeeper.
Right, let's move on to going out of the club. So, Funmbi, I'm going to ask you first on this one. We're going to move on to, technically it wasn't even ours anyway, but we're going to move on to Lazaro. Now, Lazaro's signed a season-long loan with Borussia Mönchengladbach. Right? But anyway, out in Germany, so he's not signed with us. Me, I wasn't too over the moon with him signing. Well, I was over the moon with him signing, but he didn't wow me. You know what I mean? Like when he came on, he had form up, I think. But apart from that, there wasn't much to him. Did we really miss him?
No. No, he was trash. But the thing is, I mean, you can't miss what you didn't really see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like if we loaned Saint-Maximin and he did a madness like that, and then we didn't secure the loan, you'd be like, why did we even loan the guy? But Lazaro was like, I don't even know why we. My problem was this: we already secured safety. Why was Bruce not playing him? We lost all those games anyway. Just play him, so at least we can see. So I didn't even get to see the goal against Bournemouth. He took well. He hit the crossbar in that game. I thought if he scored 2 goals that day, would have kept him. But because he scored 1, we're like, nah, he got to score 2 break. So do I miss him? No. But the fact that we still have Atsu scares me.
Wait, he scored today, which
I don't care. I do not care.
We'll go to that later.
To be fair, that's probably a standard Crewe playing against that Crewe. But let's be honest.
Let's be positive, mate. What's going on?
He needs to go.
Yeah. We've got Murphy still to go through, so I'd rather keep Murphy than Atsu.
Oh dear. We've got another one to get through as well. We finally got rid of, lads, Jack Colback. Jack Colback has gone to Nottingham Forest. Yes. We finally got him off the wage bill. I think I've seen Dominic earlier in the chat saying we got him off the wage bill. He was picking up round about 55k a week.
Mad.
That's not as bad as Rodwell at Sunderland.
Yeah, but I tell you what is worse than that is that Sarve is on the same amount. So we had Sarve.
Who's Sarve?
Sarve was in our Sarve our player.
Pete. Every time I play FIFA, every new season, and I use Newcastle, and I see Henry Sarve in the squad, I'm like, we still have this player.
Yeah, exactly. He's on 50.
How do we still have this guy?
Honestly,
where did he come from?
We got him from Bordeaux. He was their captain at the time, right? Captain of the Senegal team as well. He came in with promise, but he clearly came to us for the money and nothing else.
Was he claiming 24 as well?
Honestly, but if you think about it this way, in the last season under Bruce, you had Colback, you had Sarve, both not in the 25, training with the club every day, right? And both of them were commanding 50 grand plus. That's over 100 grand a week on those 2 players that could have been invested in one quality player that you could pay that money to. That's the sad thing about this, is that we've committed too many players over the years on big contracts, right? And we've then not been able to shift them. And it's crazy. It's crazy that Sarve's still here.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't even supposed to be talking about Sarve. We're talking about Jack Colback. We've got Jack Colback on. He's that Nottingham Forest. He's their problem now. We haven't got to worry about him. We've got our own. We've kind of replaced him. We've got rid of Jack Colback and got Matty Longstaff in terms of kind of like homegrown, light for light, both strawberry blonde. Am I allowed to say ginger nowadays? I don't know, but yeah, sort of thing. So
strawberry blonde.
Strawberry blonde,
Yeah. But,
you know what's weird about that though, Clint? You know what's really, really weird about that deal is it obviously a couple of years ago he went on loan to Forest and had a season there, and he actually did all right. I've got one of my mates who I grew up with that's a big Forest fan, and obviously he followed him during that loan, and he really liked him, and the fans wanted him to stay. He wanted to stay. It never happened for whatever reason, and he stayed with us last season. His family still lived in Nottingham. He was travelling from Nottingham to Newcastle every day just to train. He wasn't even in the 25. He would travel by train to Newcastle, train for the morning or whatever, and then get the train back to Nottingham. Why not sort that deal out sooner? Why sit on your 50 grand a week just so you're getting that 50 grand a week and not playing any football to travel there and back? It made no sense. He was always going to go to Forest.
Well, I think you answered your own question, though. I think you answered your own question because to sit on 55k, he's definitely not going to be on that at Forest, is he? Let's face it. They're in the but this 55k.
It's what baffles me, though.
So, a footballer, they were like, so I can get 55k for the next 2 years. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna like this. You know what I mean? And he's still playing. He was still getting loaned out. I'm still playing at Forest. So I know.
But were we paying all these wages though? We weren't paying all these wages on the loan, were we?
The majority, probably.
Not on the loan.
Yeah, probably majority.
Probably paying half.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we got rid of him.
Xavier is worse because I don't recall seeing him in a Newcastle jersey. How about that?
Hold on, he scored against West Ham that free kick. He scored 2, in fact, that game. So that was it. That's the only time I've seen him. Apart from that, I've seen him on Football Manager, and he's been awesome on Football Manager. But
FIFA rate him. I don't.
I know. But I'm going to ask one more player that's kind of in and out. I don't know, which is Danny Rose. Now, again, at the start when we got him, we was all ripping into him. I was ripping into him. Chip shop Danny. Then after COVID, he kind of proved himself. He was probably one of our better performers. We need a left back. Would you guys keep him? Or if we have the option to keep him?
I'll be honest with you.
We'll jump in at once. Bloody hell, look.
I've got to be honest. Look, he did okay during the restart. You could see elements of his qualities, but you've got to think, if we're trying to, they keep using the phrase box smart in our transfer business. If you're trying to box smart, for me, he's not the type of signing you would box smart with, because yes, his fee might be lower, might be 5, 6, 7 million, but he's going to come on bigger wages than what Zetro Williams would, or the Greek left back would. Like,
and for
so you
what?
got to think, yeah, you know what I mean? You got to think, is that really worth it? Do you really want a player that's just going to, you know, the way he talked down about us and how he wanted to go back to Spurs afterwards at the end of the season? Do you really, really want a player like that with all that baggage? He might be decent on the pitch, but with all that baggage, we've had that over the years. We've had the Lee Bowyers, the Kieran Dyers, the Jermaine Geniuses that come with the baggage. You know, we've had that. Do we really, really want that again?
Do you know as well, Pete? I feel like Danny Rose feels like it's a step down for him. I don't really want that attitude, you know. You're at the end of your career, bro. You know what I mean? Like, don't bring that attitude here like I'm better than the team kind of thing. Because you're playing in Champions League finals and he's used to England training. I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I mean? Come on the humble. You're at Newcastle now, bro. So I didn't really get that feeling from him. I felt like he came on I'm Billy Big Bollocks. And he ain't even know that. So, yeah, if we don't keep him, I could care less.
No, I agree.
No,
and that's my new thing. That's my new thing this season. Like that's my if it's about the club, innit? If you think you're special, you're too good, you can bounce. Like, I ain't got no attachment to any players. It's about working for the shirt. So if you're Danny Rose and you think because you played for Tottenham in the Champions League final, now you should know how to left back. After 5 games, you're just gonna take it easy on his 90 grand a week. I ain't interested in that.
We haven't got time for that either.
No,
we haven't got time for that. If we're back in that position that we didn't want to be, where we're looking at the fixtures, looking at where we're going to get 40 points from to stay in the league. We haven't got time to deal with that extra baggage of a player that thinks he's above us and is not going to work for the cause. That's going to go missing in certain games where we're going to lose points, and you don't want that type of player. So I 100% agree with you.
Right, moving on to today, our first game of pre-season, I believe. I don't know. We played anyway. We played Crewe Alexandria. We was chatting away and we beat them. We beat Crewe 3-0. Goals from Andy Carroll, Christian Atsu, your boy Funmbi, and Freddie Fernandez as well. Bit of a mixed lineup as well. Funny enough, I didn't see any new signings in there. I don't know what to take from it. Obviously, Carroll scored a pretty decent goal, but again, it's against Crewe, so we can't get too carried away.
No, did you see the comments on Twitter after the goal? They were like, and now he's out for 8 months.
Well, as I said to you guys, it'll probably be the only goal he scores this season. So, you know, he has to kind of he needs to enjoy that, and that's not me being harsh. That's just me.
Hey, we cannot have Saint-Maximin playing with Carroll. We just can't have him lofting it to Carroll. Do you know what I mean? Although Carroll's good with his feet, but he's so physical. Like, he bullied those Crewe players. I just don't think we're gonna get that in the Premier League games. We're not gonna get that kind of easy opportunity to flick it around and bury it like that. We're just not gonna get that.
No, we have to play a lot smarter game to beat. It was nice, you know what I mean. It was nice for a change to have because a lot of our pre-seasons, even against lesser teams, they seem to be tight games, and it's like, what pre-season we should be tearing some of these teams up. So it was nice to win 3-0. It was okay. It was good to see Carroll score. he doesn't really do anything. It doesn't.
No.
It gives him a little bit of confidence, but he doesn't do anything for his fans because we know at some point he's going to get injured again. Whether it's in training or during the game, and he'll be out for a period of time. What I did like, it was nice for Mark Gillespie to play. He played in goal, so I think at least the first half he played. So it was like his first game back at the club. That was good for him. It was good for Dan Barlaser. Dan Barlaser got the assist for Fernandez's the third goal. And from what we've heard, he seemed to have played well. So he was looking like he was going to go on loan, but if he keeps performing in the pre-season friendlies, who knows? And it might be another Matty Longstaff where we kind of give another young lad a chance. The only problem is that he's a centre midfielder, and we've already got four of them in the squad. It's a shame that he's not a right winger or something. But yeah, there were some positives there for sure. Everyone gets minutes. Obviously, Gale getting injured is the big downer on it. But again, with Bruce talking him up that he's in tip-top shape, this is the reality: is that he gets injured. Injured.
I hope it's for a long time, Pete, because that might force our hand to get a striker.
Hey, that's not nice.
But it's true though. No, because if he's fit, look, right. Carroll scores today. Dwight Gale's fit. Then in a couple of weeks, we've got the strikers packed. Carroll scoring in pre-season, and then we don't go and look for a striker. Now it might force our hand.
I hear that, but we don't need to wish injury upon any of our players. We don't need that.
You know what I mean? What I mean is, I want him to understand that we are short up front. Like, we can't go into this season with Gale and Carroll because they take injuries.
I think everyone did that, man. I mean, I've got a couple more positives to add in there, Peters. Jacob Murphy, he played today. I don't know how he played, and we haven't seen him in a Newcastle United shirt for a while. And then obviously Funmbi was over the moon that Christian Atsu scored.
That hurt me. Did he celebrate the goal? If he celebrated the goal, I swear down, I'll tweet him. Because I know
he only did that.
That's him thinking that might give me another 2 years.
Funmbi, I can't confirm this, but I heard from a reliable source that he did the Ober Martins flip when he scored.
Oh my goodness!
I'm joking.
If he did the slide to the fans, I'm out. The worst part, when we play lower league teams, Atsu's amazing. Because that's his level.
I heard rumours heard it that when he scored, he pointed to the screen and said, "That one's for you, Funmbi." That's what I heard.
No, he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Atsu's trying to get that Jack Cole back contract where you just sit there and hopefully don't catch me.
He's already on it, bruv. He's already on it. I'd be like, oh, no one can see me. No one can see me.
Yeah.
Being honest though, that those players playing today, so there was Barlaser, there was like you said, Jacob Murphy, there was Atsu. That for me screamed of players that were put in there today for the shop window. For players it was because you've got Jacob Murphy. Look, Jacob Murphy's not going to stay this summer. I'd be shocked. He's got a year left on his contract. Right, the club don't want to keep him, but equally they're going to want to make money on him. So he's not even going to go out for another loan unless we extend his contract for a further year, which I don't see happening. He's not going to make it at Newcastle, unfortunately. However, he's a good championship player, and he's got, I think, Forest, Swansea, Sheffield Wednesday again, a number of championship clubs that are looking at him. So we're not going to get the 10, 12 million, but if we were to get 5 million for him, we've got something back. We've got his wages off the wage bill, and then that goes towards us signing somebody else because we do need a right winger. We do need a right winger, to be fair. Yes, sorry. We do need a right winger. Because if we've got
Rolando Aarons, Pete.
No, he's gone. He's not even been at the training camp. That tells you everything you need to know. He's gone. They're trying to get him at a club.
I love how we all talk like Ashley consultants, like about getting players off the wage bill and all the rest of it. Why do fans talk like that? We should be talking about. I know it's natural, Pete. I know. Yeah. But at the same time, we should be talking about getting him on the part. We all talk about, can we balance the books? Come on, man. This is like we should be excited about the players on the pitch rather than earlier.
Putting it another way, it's getting them off the register list because you can only register 25 players, and we've got well over 25 players. We've probably got 30 to choose from. Now, if you're wanting to bring new players in, the likes of Atsu, the likes of Jacob Murphy, the likes of Mutu, players like that are going to be commanding. They're going to be commanding a spot in that squad. Now, you want those players out before you can then bring players into the 25. So a lot of players are going to need to move on.
Who's the other? Is it Chinese player we've got? We've got Mutu and we've got one up front, right? And then one in the midfield.
No, Key.
He left in January.
He's gone. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. He went on a free transfer. And that's what we need to do with what's one or two of these players. You got Lazar, you got Aarons that have come back on loan.
Is Lazar not gonna? There's nothing for. There's no chance for Lazar. You reckon?
No. He literally, Rafa watched him for 2 games and said, "You're trash. You're trash. We don't want you anymore." He ain't played since. He hasn't played since.
You're trash.
Yeah, seriously. He's barely played for us.
Right, before we move on, I've got to read out a comment that made me chuckle. Nick said to you, Funmbi, that you need a Gucci headband. I think
get it done, man. Get it done.
Hey, if we are safe by Christmas, I'll rock a Gucci headband for the rest of the season.
That is a promise, right? We've got that recorded. That is a promise.
If we're in a good, decent position by Christmas, when no one's where you're like, you know what, we're not gonna get relegated. We can start enjoying our season. I'm walking the Gucci headband all season, bro.
All right, you heard it.
I'm down for that.
Last thing we're going to talk about is the fixtures. I've got a couple of them in front of me. So we start off with West Ham away, then Brighton at home, Tottenham away after that. What else we've got? Boxing Day, we've got Manchester City. First game in January, we've got Leicester City. Last game of the season, we've got Fulham away again. Any games that you guys might be looking forward to playing? Liverpool, where's Liverpool? Liverpool at home, December. I don't know where we're going to get our first couple of points from because West Ham could be difficult. Brighton, depending on how they... I know you're looking at me like that, bro, but West Ham will invest. We've only got Jeff Hendrick, so...
Can I just say, yeah? 6 points early doors.
You think?
Spurs is where we're... 6 points early doors. We're going to struggle. But it's Spurs we're going to see our mettle. We'll spank West Ham and what's it called? They don't play well at the London Stadium. It's behind my house. Trust me.
You know what? I have to agree with that. Like we should be, for the first time in a long while, we should be looking forward to those.
Hey Pete, remember the last 4 seasons? We've played like the top 7 like in a row.
Yeah.
Bro, these are teams we can actually play with.
So the first 4 games: West Ham away, Brighton at home, Tottenham away, Burnley at home.
Yeah,
I'm not being funny. That's 4 games where you could get some serious points on the board if you sign quickly, if you embed them into the squad, and if you get yourself ready early to tackle the season. With our back end of the season, we've got Man City, Arsenal, Sheffield United, Fulham away. We've got another big team. Our last 4, 5, 6 games of the season is incredibly tough with teams that have done well in the last year. Now, on paper, that's a tough end of the season. So we're going to have to do what we've done in the last couple of years and make sure we've got points on the board so we're not worrying by that point. So this is the perfect opportunity. In those first 4 games, you've got an opportunity to be probably maximum 9 points, but certainly 6 points is not, 6 points beating Brighton and Burnley at home gets you 6 points on the board. Right, that's a positive start. And then you've got a free run at West Ham and you've got a free run at Tottenham. Okay, away games are obviously always more difficult, and our record is up and down in London. Although there are 2 London teams that we tend to beat at their ground.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
all open. It is all open. But the issue is, and it's always the same, is that we're too slow to do our deals. We're too slow to embed players in the squad. If we were to sign Callum Wilson as soon as he got relegated, embedded him into the squad, so he played today, got his fitness up, got used to playing with the squad. This is just an example about Callum Wilson. But if we did that, if we got Jeff Hendricks a few weeks ago, embedded him into the squad and a couple more players, we could be ready to go firing into the new season. Everyone's up. But the fact that we're going in with pretty much the same squad, doesn't fill you with confidence. So we've got 2 weeks to put that right. We want to be going in to that first game against West Ham with a striker that we've invested heavily in, whether it's a loan to buy or whether it's an actual permanent signing. We need to do it. We need to do that, but we've got to work quick.
Yeah, you're right, Pete. You're right. I mean, I'm looking again at the picture. December looks okay. We've got Villa away, West Brom at home, Leeds away, which would be good. Fulham at home, Man City away, and Liverpool at home. And then March looks good as well. In the run-up to the big batch of games that you mentioned before, March we've got West Brom away, Villa at home, and then Brighton away. And then April, May, boy, I'm just hoping that we're not fighting for survival when April, May, because we've got Tottenham home, Burnley away, which could be tough, West Ham at home, and then Liverpool away. And then last 5 in May, Arsenal home, Leicester away, Manchester City home, Sheffield United home, and then obviously finishing up with Fulham away. So
I don't know what you guys are panicking about. I like all those fixtures. By that time, we'd have another takeover story, and I'll be gassing about bringing Kai Havertz in January, bro. What are you panicking about? What are you stressing about?
I have 6 months at Chelsea, and he wants to come to Newcastle. Yeah, all right, cool.
He ain't going Chelsea yet. You know what? I had this weird feeling that, I feel like we'll be okay. I feel like we underestimate the fact that we finished 14th or 13th.
14th.
Yeah.
But we were safe. We could have finished higher, but we were safe with 5 games to spare, right? Everybody thought we were going to be trashed last season and we were going to get relegated. That was everyone's thought. I still think the nucleus of what Bradford did, our defense, is still there. Do you know what I mean? So they're still well organized. And I just feel like Steve Bruce will bring some players that he can coach and that, he likes that graft kind of thing. And I just think we'll be all right. It's not going to be great football, but I think we'll be all right. I think there's at least 6 more teams worse than us.
6?
And you see West Ham, yeah? You see West Ham, they play under constant pressure every season. Their fans are never happy. Do you know what I mean? So we can capitalize on things like that,
Especially
so when I say to Pete,
Declan Rice.
Right, and especially if they keep Moyes, they don't like Moyes, So, and like I say to Pete, when I look at West Ham away, them Fulham, who's at home?
Brighton
at home, and although Brighton's always a freaking tricky game for us, but I just think these are teams that we can compete with. We've got an X factor in what's his name, Saint-Maximin. We've still got a Mario. We've got ballers. You know what I mean? Joe Linton. I know there's at least 15 goals in him this season. You guys need to. You might need to calm down.
Dominic asked, are you fellas on the beer? I can confirm Funmbi is definitely on the beer because I think Joe Linton's going to get 15 goals this season in the Premier League. He must be on top.
You know what? If Joe Linton starts scoring, we're going to start panicking.
Can you imagine if he starts banging in hat-tricks and you're thinking, yo, he finally got Ronaldo. He's got Ronaldo.
Imagine he starts banging in them goals. Like, oh, shoot.
Oh, man. If only, man. If only, boy.
Wait, you saying you can't get 10 this season? Is that what you're saying?
What did you get last season? 5? Barely. 3 of them were in.
1 in the league.
1 in the league.
2. 2 in the league. 2 in the league.
Sheffield United.
That's shocking, 40 minutes bringing 2 goals. That's terrible.
FA Cup, Oxford and who else have we played? Oh, Lord.
The funny thing, he's actually a smart player. He's got intelligence about him. It's just
he's on 80 bags a week. Of course, he's a smart player. He's swindled them.
Wait. He's on 80 bags a week.
At least he's not.
He's alongside Shelby. He's the most as a player on the most.
He's on 80 bags a week.
Yeah, both of them are on 80 grand.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, out of respect, he should have given half of that to the fans at the end of the season. Look, I'm gonna drop a little change for you. You can't be on 80 bags and bring 2 goals. Oh, hell no.
That's why it's so bad.
You should have told me that. You should have told me that.
That's why it's so bad.
You should have told me that, guys.
It's so bad. And
you should have told me that.
For me, I'm looking at the squad and I'm matching the squad up. And I was doing it the other night. And I was trying to think, right, okay, where do we need to sign? So we've got so in goal we're stacked. You've got Dubravka, you've got Darlow, you've got Gillespie. Fine. At right back, it's not ideal, but you've got 3 options. You've got Yedlin, Manquillo, and Kraft. Yedlin's likely to go. He's one that needs to go. He's taking up an extra space and he don't want to be at the club anyway. Fine. Centre backs, we're fine. You got Lascelles, you got Lejeune, you got Shaw, you got Clark. Fine, no problem.
Have we still got Shaw?
Yeah, and then you got Fernandez as well. So we've got 5 left backs where we need someone in because you've got Dummett and then we need somebody else. You go into midfield. The centre midfield we've already talked about. They're stacked. We're good. Left wing. See, this is where I put Joe Linton. You've got Saint-Maximin on the left, and then you've got backup Joe Linton. Not much of a backup, but that's where apparently that's his position. You put him there as a backup. Right wing's where we've got an issue because you've got, currently you've got Matt Ritchie and you've got Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy is likely to go, so that's where you need to replace. For me, Ryan Fraser on a free, no-brainer. For some reason, it's not materialising. I have no idea why. He's an assist maker. He's got creativity. He's a quick, solid player that's got years ahead of him. I have no idea why that deal has not been done, but for whatever reason, it hasn't. So we need to get a right winger. And then you got the attacking midfield. Now, this is where it changes for me because everyone seems to keep saying that Sean Longstaff is a centre midfielder. I don't see that. I see him as a number 10 fighting with Almiron. Because from what we saw against Bournemouth, when he played in that number 10 and he got the goal before he got injured, he looked really good playing there. And I think him playing there could get him more goals this season. We could potentially see him scoring 6, 7, 8 goals in the season just from that attacking midfield position because he can shoot from distance. He likes to get in the box and he's got a bit of dynamic energy about him. He likes to press high. So he could be good there and he could really push Almiron for a starting place if he stays fit. Up top, you've got at the moment Gale as first choice, Carroll as backup, and then you've got Mutu. So they're the 3. You get rid of Mutu, you get another striker in that becomes the number 1. Then you've got Gale as backup and Carroll as third. Take the pressure off Carroll completely and just play him when you need to. And that for me, a left back, a right wing, and a striker, they're the 3 positions that we really need to fill before September the 12th. That's key, those 3 positions.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll keep it. We'll end it there because it's gone off for an hour now, but we've rattled through so many things. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about. We've got to make this more of a regular thing. Apologies on my part. I've been busy. I'm sure you guys have been as well. Thank you guys who've been listening. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I can tell by some of the comments in the comment section that you have. Funmbi, you need to definitely get that Gucci headband.
Yeah.
Hey, December 31st, yeah, I will analyze what we're at. And if we're struggling out here, I'm getting a Man City band. That's the band I'll be getting.
We'll do a special. We'll do a special stream to analyze, and then at the end you can.
Then I'll unveil the Gucci band. I'll unveil like a signing.
Do it.
If we're like top 6 Gucci headband, if we're top 10 Lonsdale, if we're like 15th, maybe just like a rubber band. I don't know. All
right, that's what we're doing. It's about the elite. So if we're top 6, then it's Gucci. Yeah. Top 10, we'll go like Lacoste or something like that.
Yeah.
Bottom half, we'll just do a cheap Speedo spandex type thing.
Sports Direct.
We'll do a Sports Direct if it's if it's like the 15th.
God, look, we're already feeding. We're already feeding Ashley again as well with money as well. Jeez, yo. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys.
Thank you, man. Good to see you, lads.
And you. Take care, boys.
Peace.
See you later.